Post-election, let's talk about what President Trump means for the hemp and cannabis industry moving into 2025. Hey, I'm Morgan Davis. I'm a health and wellness attorney based in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's talk about how to keep your business protected and thriving. Whether you're feeling the political hangover or you're celebrating after this year's election cycle, one of the things that is true no matter what is that we have a new president who historically has had a pretty important effect on the hemp industry and likewise the cannabis industry, that being the 2018 Farm Bill. We can never forget the fact that the 2018 Farm Bill, which created the hemp industry as we know it today, came under Trump in his first presidency. So now that we're in 2.0, what could happen next? Well, we've already been talking about the fact that rescheduling is on the docket. It's been pushed into next year, where the DEA will be discussing rescheduling marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. And that's going to have various effects both for the regulated cannabis industry as well as the hemp industry. But number one question is his administration going to legalize cannabis? The rhetoric has been that yes, at the federal level, President Trump supports legalizing cannabis. There's not been a lot of specifics as to what that means. Does that mean adult use? Does that mean medical only? Is it going to be a free-for-all? What does that mean for hemp? We haven't gotten into the details. Also, the Senate is now under a Republican majority, and the House is still has a very close split. Now what is going to be the 2025 Farm Bill is still in debate in the House, right? They're still discussing it. We've had some insane amendments attached that would kill the hemp industry. We've had other bills proposed by people like Senator Wyden that would create a regulatory pathway forward at the federal level for hemp. It's all over the place. What does the change in administration mean for things like that? It's unclear. What we do know is that the Senate has a chance at pushing through a lot of the president's policies if they choose to do so. We know that the House will continue to be a very contentious place of, a lot of fighting and a lot of needing people to reach across the aisle to reach consensus on anything and get anything done. So will we even get a farm bill in 2025? I think everyone's hoping so. Obviously, we're hoping that it doesn't come with, the Mary Miller amendment that kills the entire hemp industry. But I think it is fair to say that we will most likely get one in 2025. And I think one of two things will happen. It will either be that hemp will be dropped altogether in order to get it passed, and therefore nothing will change. Or we're looking at federal regulations from the Farm Bill that are going to apply throughout the hemp industry. What those regulations will be, stay tuned. But obviously, President Trump, being a conservative but also being a businessman himself, has always been in favor of business. And I don't think anyone can deny that the hemp industry at this point is massive. And nobody's getting that cat back in the bag, right? So either it's permitted, maybe with some regulation, or it stays the way it is now, which is on a state-by-state basis. So I don't think it's a negative thing. But here's the bottom line. Nobody's got a crystal ball, guys. And if anything, this election cycle has taught us, don't be making any bets because nobody has any idea what's about to happen. All right? Anybody who tells you otherwise is fooling themselves, but hopefully not fooling you. So here's my advice, and it's been the same advice I've been giving my clients for years. In this industry, it is a new industry. The law is always developing. Things are always changing, both at the federal and the state level. You, as a stakeholder in the hemp industry, need to be ready to pivot. And I don't know how much energy you should spend on asking yourself, what's going to happen under the new presidency? I think it's much more important to pay attention to what's going on in your backyard, what's happening in your state, in your town, What effect is it having on your business? What kind of products do you want to sell? Where do you want to see your business in 5 years? That's what you should be focusing on. And at the federal level and at the state level, the best money can be spent on getting into an interest group that represents your business, whether that's the U.S. Hemp Roundtable or the Americans for Healthy Alternatives Association or the Hemp Beverage Alliance or any number of other organizations that can advocate for your business's interests. Get involved, become a member, start advocating for yourself, get involved in local politics. Find out who your local representative is, where your business is. Go in, sit down with them, have them over to your store, bring them to your warehouse, bring them to your manufacturing facility and say, hey, I want to show you what I'm doing. I want you to understand what this business is and why we're an important part of this community. That's how you advocate for yourself. Next thing, get a lawyer. Don't be operating in this new business where things are constantly changing and it's a gray area without legal advice. If it's not me, find somebody else, right? Because things are constantly changing and it affects every area of your business potentially. So don't try and navigate that on your own. It's a lot, right? We talk all the time about the constant changing patchwork of states and where you can sell your products and where you can't sell your products and the DEA's position versus the federal court's position. You got enough as a business owner to handle just running your business like everybody else, right? I totally get it. I feel the same way. In addition to that, you don't need to worry about what is happening in the legislature this week, but you do need to be aware of it in case you need to pivot. So, I think probably positive things for the hemp and cannabis industry are coming out of the Trump administration 2.0. But regardless of what happens, stay nimble, be ready to pivot, get a lawyer, and advocate for yourself.